Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Okay, everybody, this is your time to make yourself full of energy, good energy, positive energy. And the way we're going to get that is through Roberta Hladek, who's co-founder of the Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness, which is also referred to as EMC Square. And Roberta's calling in from Las Vegas, Nevada. Hello, Roberta.
Good morning. How are you? Or good afternoon, I guess, on your end of the world.
No, that's good. But, of course, we're taping and we do play this in the morning, so it's okay.
Oh, okay.
No, but I just want to say that we have been talking about the AIM program for many years, and I'm so familiar with it myself, and I attribute my good health and all the things that happened to me because of it. And I really want other people to know about it. So maybe we can entice some people to take a shot at it and see what they think. And before we start this, when someone calls you for information, what do you send out?
We have an information packet that we sent out, which one is an article that we wrote on the AIM program, and of course the application, and a letter that explains a little bit about what it is, and a brochure, as well as the intro CD that I wrote, and it explains what the AIM program is, why we're a church, all the questions that we normally get. And it's kind of a short little interview that I do with someone else, and they ask me these questions, and I answer them to hopefully help clear up any questions participants or future participants might have regarding the program and what we offer.
And how do you describe it? Make believe that I've just called you, and I heard the show, and I said, oh, this sounds interesting. Tell me about the AIM program.
Well, what the AIM program does is it helps us to achieve in our life what we really want, spiritually, emotionally, and in our health. The program is not a medical program. It's more a spiritual program. That's part of the reason why we're called a church, but we're not a church in the sense that you go to a physical place and worship. It's more of a long-distance worship. So we want you to stay with whatever church you're with. This is a spiritual transformation, so to speak. So it helps us to remove any blockages, any cobwebs, whatever works for you to describe, clearing the slate so that you can see clearly what your path in life is. And it also raises your vibration. When our vibration is raised, which is what we call our life force, it makes it easier for you to fend off disease, negative energy, helps you deal with all the things that go on in our lives on a daily basis.
I see.
Things that we wouldn't even think about. And what's really interesting is a lot of people that when I've gone out and spoken to groups of people, they'll say, well, why should I go on it? I'm not sick. It's not that you're sick. You don't have to be sick, although there's a lot of people that do come on the program that aren't feeling well. But when I tell them, it's not about that. It's about being kind of all you can be, finding your purpose, finding your path, raising that vibration. And then some have come back to me later and emailed me and said, I didn't realize how rotten I was feeling because
Really?
now I'm feeling so good. And it's weird. And they go, I can't really put my finger on it. It's not like I'm not coughing anymore or something like that. It's not a physical thing. It's just all of a sudden I feel really good. I'm seeing things in a more positive light. I'm able to, when things are thrown at me, I'm able to go through it instead of react to it. I'm able to kind of think about it and then make my decision as to how I'm going to get through it.
Right, and that's part of what this whole thing is, and it's a little mysterious, and I agree, I admit it, and it's hard for me to explain a lot of it to people, but it is definitely, I guess we can use the word spiritual, whatever it is, but I've always been into energy and the power of energy from all sorts of seminars I've attended and things that I've done, and this is, though, it's a little different. It's all worked on a computer. It's massive. It's major, and it's affecting thousands of people. You don't know them, but it's all part of who we are. And I think the proof of the matter is when you first start, you're measured in your total energy level, and you pretty much are at zero, even though, I don't know what that really means, but I know that as you're on the program, it bumps all the way up till it comes to be 100, right? You can talk about that maybe.
Yeah, the life force, when you first come on the program, like my girlfriend said, I was pretty much blip zero. And she's a nurse, so she's used to the machine sounding in the ER and stuff like that. And she said, I was like at zero. And I thought, oh, my gosh, how am I even getting through my daily life? And I said, it's not your health. It's not a or a measurement of how healthy you are. It's a measurement of your inner strength. How strong are you to overcome adversity? And when we're that low, we're really pushing hard to get through every day. We don't realize how much our body is going through to get through things. So then as we are on the program and we clear out all those hereditary dispositions and maybe old remnants of flus and things like that, or negative energies, whatever is been around us in all these years. And maybe if you think of like people that have passed things down to your grandparents, great-grandparents, that kind of thing, you clear all that out, it raises that vibration. And when that vibration is raised, you're much stronger. And that's when I was talking about it's easier to not react to a situation. You more kind of think about it a little bit first before just jamming out some words that might not be appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
that way you can kind of think about it and, maybe have a kinder way of saying whatever it is that you're trying to say, or a more politically correct way of saying what you need to say.
And I think the other thing that's important to say is that your whole family can be on this. There's a family plan. So it's not fair for just you to be on it, I don't think. In fact, I've had my dog on it. You can have your pets on it. It's because everything has energy. I mean, it's, if you have a pet fish, that's energy somehow, right?
Exactly. And I've even had, we've had some really different things on our program. We have a professional skateboarder who has a skateboard on the program. We have people who have their cars on the program.
Wait, go back to that. You have someone with a skateboard who's on the program?
Absolutely.
How do you deal with that? I don't know about that.
Well, you just stick the skateboard on, and we can't check a life force, obviously. Same with a home. We can't check a home's life force. But when you have your home or your office on the program, and I can attest to this, people feel differently when they come in your home or your office.
Huh.
It's calming. They always say, wow, it feels so good in here. What do you do? What is it? Do you have some kind of humidifier, or what is it that you're doing in here? And I'm going, no, we don't do anything like that, but we have it on the AIM program and, that kind of thing. And so that really helps. And
do you charge extra for that?
Well, if you have a family plan, it would be one of the spots on the family plan, which the family plan you can have up to 5 people, places, or things.
I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and if you wanted to just put a home on, like I've got many realtors that are on our program.
Oh, really?
They'll put on the home that they're trying to sell, and it has to be vacant. That's the only thing. It has to be vacant because we don't want to put on people within the home that don't know they're being put on. And it's $300 for the year. And we have this one very successful realtor in San Diego area, and that's her thing. She's puts them, as soon as one sells, she sends us an application for another one, and she puts the other one on. She just loves it.
That says a lot. Now, see, I didn't know. See, I knew every time I talk to you, I'm going to find new things.
Yep.
This is fantastic.
And I have my own personal deal with that. I had a home up in Oregon by my sister, and I had thought that instead of moving to Las Vegas, I was going to get the guys to move to Oregon, which it didn't work. And so I had a little place up there, and I used to go up and see my sister and the kids and whatever. And so I had to put it up for sale when we were moving here. And I was like having the worst time. I'm like, gosh, the market was kind of funny. And so my sister said, "You're crazy." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Why don't you put it on your own program?"
Uh-huh.
And I go, "I didn't even think about that." And she goes, "Yeah." So I put it on the program, and within 2 weeks, I got a full price offer on my home, and it
No kidding.
sold. Yep.
Now that is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So
wow.
I'm not saying that every time you put something on the program in 2 weeks it's going to go. It's just the energy shifts. Maybe it was my energy. I don't know how to explain it, but it worked. And this realtor that I have, I told her it, and she's been doing it ever since. And she says it's been helping a lot. So she's full on with it.
Wow. Well, that's something new. So, okay. But now let's talk about people who are really sick. Let's just say that someone gets on because they've been to doctors, they've been everywhere, and they're just not getting better. Tell me what you think, how that all works.
Well, we have kind of an interesting one. It's been years since she came into us, but she's still on the program, and unfortunately I can't name her name.
No, of course not.
She came in a wheelchair, and they didn't know what her issue was. They could not. She was very wealthy and had the funds to have anyone look at her and everyone look at her and to try anything. And a friend of ours was on the program and knew her and said, this is kind of out there, but I think you should try this program. And so she came in. At that time, Steve and I were in private practice, and she came into the office, and Stephen checked her, and then we put her on the program. Now we just have the program. And within about 2 or 3 months, she was out of her wheelchair.
No kidding.
And she hadn't been in it. I do have to clarify, she hadn't been in it like her entire life or anything. This was a sudden thing, and she was fine. And then all of a sudden, she just lost her strength in her legs, and she was having a really difficult time. And she wasn't feeling well, and she was really unhappy when she came in. And within about 3 months or so, she was up and moving around. And, shortly thereafter, she started strengthening her muscles and stuff, and she got back to where she was. And she was a young woman. I mean, she was in her early 60s when she came in, and she's still on the program. And that's been probably, we've had the AIM program almost 20 years.
Oh, my goodness. And so, wow, that's probably your most successful story.
Yeah, she is a very, very interesting woman. And we've had, our share of celebrities because we were in Los Angeles and we were near Hollywood, so we got a lot of celebrities. And usually if one comes on, then it's kind of a word-of-mouth thing, and then a lot of people want to be on the program, and many of them are still on the program. So it's, not that you have to be a celebrity, or that's not what I'm saying is a selling point or anything like that, because the program really can't be sold. It's something you have to feel, and if you want to take a chance and start feeling good, whatever it is, maybe things just aren't going well in your life. Maybe it's a new year. You want to start off, feeling good and have positive energy and shift whatever's going on in your life. The AIM program can surely help you achieve that, and I really do believe that.
Wow, it certainly does. So now there's some really other kinds of things that we have talked about before, but I think it's important that somebody has something else. We haven't talked about PTSD at all. Mm-hmm. We've talked about people with Tourette's syndrome or people with Down syndrome or autism. Have you gotten into any of the veterans coming back with some serious problems?
If we have, I haven't been notified. A lot of times when people come on our program, because we're given an application and a photograph, and I'm testing the photograph, and a lot of times they don't tell us if there's anything going on with them, which we don't require. It's up to you if you want to tell us. But I do have a very close friend who suffers from PTSD from some situations that he's been involved in, and he's doing really, really well. And he has a dog. A lot of them have animals to help them get through PTSD, and this dog is amazing too. She's so cute, and she goes everywhere with him, and he won't go anywhere that she can't go because he doesn't want to be without her. But he said without being on AIM, he doesn't think he could have made it through the situations that he had been in.
Huh. My goodness. That is good. So there was somebody.
Mm-hmm. And there's probably more. I just don't always know, you know, who's on and, you know, what's going on with them at the time and that kind of thing. So there may be more.
Right. They're just getting on, but they don't really tell you when they come on that that's what they're looking to help. They just come on mysteriously?
Well, we don't require it because it's not a medical program. So if we asked you why you wanted to come on the program and what your situation was, then we might get into medicine, and that's not really our forte. I'm not a physician,
of course.
So I wouldn't want to get into that. But we've also had, from 9/11, we had a lot of the workers, first responders, and those types on the program. And to my knowledge, they've all done pretty well. A lot of them have gone off and done other things now. They feel like they've gotten to where they want to move on. We had a 9/11 scholarship program. And there was one man who was one of the firemen that came in at a later time and was helping Ground Zero. And I mean, he was there, but he didn't have to go up into the towers and that kind of thing. And he had PTSD along with 1,000 other things that were going on with him. Young, good-looking, family man. It was just heartbreaking to hear his story. And he gave us he wrote up a whole thing to explain to us why he wanted the scholarship, which we didn't need that. But he just wanted us to know what he was dealing with. And he was on the program for a very long time. And then he told me, he said, I'm feeling really good, and I want to move on. I want to get away from this 9/11 stuff, and I want to try and, put it behind me and move on. And to my knowledge, he's doing very well.
Huh. That's great. That's what really makes a difference for you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I know that we don't talk often about the book that, of course, Stephen, and was it Stephen alone? No, he had also, I think, who was the other gentleman?
Evans.
Yeah,
Evans,
right.
Lawson.
Yeah, I think they wrote that. And
right.
Do you market that at all?
We do. We have it up on our website, and you can order it through Amazon. We have an online version. We also have it in Spanish. So,
that's good.
We do have the book available, for anyone who would like to read the book. We also have it on a CD, a 6-CD set. A lot of people love that because they're traveling,
right?
Especially over the summer. A lot of people wanted it. The holidays is a big time for it, too, because a lot of people want to introduce their family or friends to the program.
Yeah. I think the reason I even mention it is because that really does, that's what got me excited, that book. That's how I really learned about AIM, and that's why I think it says it in such a good way. It's a story about someone who really was giving up their life in a sense, and they tried everything, and then they wound up through friends finding this organization, the AIM program, and EMC Square. And that really put it into, I think, some very firm words that people and thoughts that people could understand it.
It really does. It's really an easy read. It's a fun read.
Right.
It'll probably take you an hour and a half max to read it. It's not a thick book, and it's really captivating. It makes you want it to go on.
Do you think there are a lot of other people who've had serious cancer who've been helped that you know of, particularly, that they've shared?
I'm sure of it. I have a very close friend who's been on AIM, and he used to come into the office when Stephen was in private practice. And he, of course, when you're diagnosed with something like that, you want to try everything.
Sure.
And he tried everything, but he feels that without AIM, he never would have gotten through it because he was still going to the gym, and he had throat cancer. And he was going to the gym, and he was working out, and he never lost any of his muscle mass. The doctors couldn't figure out what the deal was with him and why. But he's a very natural kind of person wanting to do the natural stuff. So he did some natural diet changes along with what the doctors were providing for him too. He kind of walked halfway on both sides. He did medicine as well as alternative. He did AIM, and then he did the special diet. And he's fine now. He's 7 years clear.
Wow.
And I think he had stage 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. So there are people like this. And I know when I, have problems, I'll call, because I've been on it, and I'll call and say, please look at what's going on with me. Is there something that I should know? And, and you get looked up. But in general, and it's hard to describe this, but when you send your picture, what does your picture have again? I mean, you've put it in such good words, I can't do it. When we send you our picture, what does that show?
Well, it's your matrix or your energy field. And you know how we've talked about everything being energy? Well, we're all energy too. If we looked at us under those, I'm not sure if it's like a microscope or how they look at us, kind of like when you do an aura reading where it's just colors and you don't really see a person, you just see a blob. And that's kind of us. We're just a creation of energy and light. And so each one of us, our photograph holds that energy. So when we put it on the program, it matches the energies that the computer is sending, and they match vibrations and remove anything negative.
Yep. So that's what you do all day, isn't it? What do you do every day?
Well,
no, don't tell me. Just don't tell me funny things. Just tell me seriously. So you wake up and all. Of course, you run. Don't you run to your computer in a sense too to see what's new and what's going on?
Well, that's one of the first things that I do when I come in the office in the morning is I do check to see what's going on, and then I have Life Force rechecks, which is the participants that are on AIM. They're printed out every day, certain participants. It's like a date and time when they went on the program kind of thing. So the computer sends me all the people that need to be checked for that day. I check them, and then if there's anything special, meaning, say someone like you contacts your facilitator and says, I've had this thing for so long and it's just really bugging me and it's not budging, then the facilitator may choose to send me what we call a special request recheck. And in that, I go into more depth, and it takes a lot longer time to investigate and try and find out what's going on with you and see if there's something not in the database. And then I put that in there. If I don't have anything special coming in, which is pretty rare that I have nothing, usually I have one or two, then what I do is my own research, and I'm checking on, like at this time of the year, the flus that are out and about to make sure I have those vibrations on the tray.
Ah, good.
Mm-hmm. And I always, because we want to keep the computer as more updated as possible. It has to be current. We want it currently up to date with whatever's out there so that we all have access to that. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't get the flu, but it means that if we do get the flu, we'll get over it a lot faster than somebody that's not on AIM. For instance, a friend of mine had the flu. She's not on AIM. She's had it for about 3 weeks now. My other half got the flu, kind of the cold thing, and he's had it for about 4 days, and he's done with it. So it just is a difference, and how long are you going to stay lingering with this? And maybe it's not got you totally down where you're in bed, but it's a bother. You're trying to work, and you don't have a lot of energy, and you got kids and all the other things that we have going on in our lives.
Yep. Yeah.
You don't have time for it.
No, but it's also secure. You don't want to, it's funny that so many times when somebody gets really sick, I want to tell them about AIM but it's there are certain people who are just non-believers. You know that, Roberta, and that's how they live their life with everything.
Yeah. There's just some, and there is some that they want to know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
How, and I can't do that. I can't tell you that your headaches that you've had since you were 10 years old and you're now 70 are going to go away tomorrow because you went on AIM. I always like to go back to them and say, well, how long have you been taking the medicine for those headaches? And they'll say, well, 20 years. Well, have you asked your doctor how come you haven't gotten over the headaches?
Right, right.
I mean, you expect the AIM program to help you overnight, but yet you'll continue taking your medicine.
Yep.
But that's a whole nother story.
Well, you're just a doll, and I love talking to you. And I think you're going to I have your beautiful picture in, as a matter of fact.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I think I put your picture in some other way there, too. I think maybe for the contest. I'm not sure what I did, but I love that picture of you. And anyway, and I'm so happy that we've been able to do this, all the time. And my only sadness is I haven't been out to Las Vegas to come and see you. That's what I need to do, though.
Maybe this year I'll either get to Florida or you'll get to Las Vegas.
Okay.
That would be so much fun to see you.
Yeah, we will. We'll do that, honey. No doubt. Okay, well, thanks again, and we'll talk again in February. And I think I may have some more columns, but send me something.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll send you something.
Yeah, send me something.
Thank you so much.
Thank, honey. All right,
We
bye,
appreciate
Roberta.
it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Bye.
Bye-bye.